not as eloquent a speaker as Jay here.
You get to give away the potluck.
Sure. Hey, I wrote kind of an Activism 101. It's just kind of thoughts I just threw together, so I kind of hope it goes pretty good here. First thing I put is personality, patience, and persistence are going to be key. The fastest way to get cannabis legalized is to be likable. Don't be argumentative with your legislators, even when they're wrong. You know, like Jay says, they're not educated on absolutely every issue. And don't be surprised if cannabis law reform isn't one of their top priorities. And so chances are your representative, no matter who it is, might not be, you know, it might not be forefront in their mind. And you might have a very need for it, you know. Don't get discouraged if he's semi-reluctant or, you know, they won't get combative, but they get very resistant. They think if they appear soft on drugs or soft on crime, it'll affect them in the polls, you know. They don't want to look like the legislator that legalized drugs for everybody. So you got to let them know things like the polls. We did a poll in Wisconsin. 70% of Wisconsinites favor medical cannabis, you know, for patients. It's just a humane thing to do. Our legislators know these stats, and still they're resistant. And it's kind of funny because I don't know who they're fearing the backlash from. The actual people that go out and vote, you know, or, you know, I don't know who they're expecting backlash from. Image you project is also vital. People will judge you on appearances when you speak about the issue, so when you're speaking to them face to face, try to dress up nicely. Unfortunately, they do look at you and just do a quick scan and, you know, blow you off sometimes. That's unfortunate, but it's true. So if you know, when Jay and I talk to the representatives, we tend to dress up and button up, you know, suit and tie. And it just makes it look, you know, more respectable to them, so they just don't blow us off right away. Persistence is a key. Like I said, they're going to be resistant to it, but you just got to keep going. Just keep educating them. You come up with a new study or a new thing, just talk to them about it. Just no. Like I want to say, Gandhi had a quote that works really good for this. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. So you got to keep pounding it. Then it's need to contact your legislators and let them know what you think. You also need to vote. It's very important you vote. If they're resistant to you, we got to replace them. I had some of the incumbents in here know that nobody's even running against them. They're actually cocky, you know, because they know nobody will even stand up. A great thing to do as an activist is to actually run for office. If you can do it, do it. A lot of them, you know, with that online now, you can actually get your word out and just go around, collect signatures. It's not as hard as you think to run for office. Jay has done it in his area. He's rather successful at it. Research the topic that you want to discuss as much as you can, books. One of the great resources we have is our public library system. We have all kinds of books here, the pot book, Treating the Emperor Wears No Clothes, Marijuana is Safer. All these books are here at the Appleton Public Library. You can get all these, you can, you know, check them out. We also have movies, How Weed Won the West, American Drug War. These are all good movies.
Also on Netflix.
Yeah, also on Netflix. But educating yourself on the topic is key too, so you know what you're talking about when you're talking about cannabis.
Yeah.
I still laugh at Reefer Madness.
What's that?
Reefer Madness, the propaganda.
That's a great one. I have that
really
one
good
too.
I can't just not watch that and not laugh.
It is funny. It is unfair that they started off with cannabis laws with no science behind it. They started off with the Marijuana Tax Act, and they just kind of banned cannabis without any good reason to it. It was used as a medicine. They had no problems with it. There wasn't a whole lot of people using cannabis when they banned it. It was like 1%. You know?
I recall hearing something about one of the I think it was the medical association, one of the heads of the medical association didn't know they were talking about cannabis because they were throwing around the word marijuana and slipped it in before he could even get to the committee to
Yeah, no,
stop
the
it.
pharmacopoeia did what they were losing when the marijuana. You're absolutely correct. So.
Well, the effect of this drug law, this prohibition, is that most people are doing it now. The last 3 presidents have all used cannabis. They all admitted it. And so how effective is it when, you know, like 1% of America has ever tried cannabis to now, you know, almost everybody. So it's not effective. School children have easier access to it than legal drugs. Alcohol and tobacco, they're regulated. And survey after survey from the University of Michigan shows that, you know, they can always attain cannabis easier than, you know, alcohol or cigarettes. So we need to change the laws to actually keep it out of the kids' hands. So we need to tell the legislators, seriously, if you want to actually, what about the children? And you're seriously wanting to protect the children, regulate it. You know, put it in ID checking adults. So these are some of the things that the legislators, they don't want to do because they don't want to make it look like they're having easier access for children. They don't want to make it look like they're soft on crime or they don't support the police, you know. So it's important to actually tell them the facts. Organize, which is what we're doing. You know, social networking, Facebook and such. These are very good for the organization, movement. Letters to the editor are a very effective tool. Just writing a letter to the Post-Crescent or any local paper and just putting your 2 cents about cannabis and what you think, it gets people talking. It's a very good tool and very good resource. So I recommend everybody write a letter to the editor. Then take advantage of the public library. Like I said, you can get all these books and all this information. You can get it free. You don't have to buy it. You could. It's nice to support these places, but I mean, some people are on a budget, and it's just easier for them to, you know, get it free from the library. Have confidence in what you can do is affecting change. Believe in yourself. I'm going to give you another quote. No doubt, never doubt the small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that it ever has. It's Margaret Mead. If you can't get the legislators to see it your way, run against them. That's another thing. With the age of the internet, you can get your word out. You can rally support. Running for office these days is not as daunting a task as it may seem. It is possible. Keep in mind how many people out there also think it is beyond them to make it. So just try. I mean, what have you got to lose? Abraham Lincoln, I'm going to leave with a final quote here. This country with its institutions belongs with the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it or exercise their revolutionary right to overthrow it. So, all right, thank you.